Should I only wholesale in markets where I know I have end buyers? Now, I get asked these types of questions all the time. Just the other night, I went live, and in the comments, someone asked, RJ, am I a bad person for locking up a deal in Wisconsin when I don't have an end buyer in Wisconsin? I kind of chuckled at the question, and I said, no, you're not a bad person. You're just a wholesaler. Welcome to the game. Here's the thing. In 2025, we have access to softwares and systems that give us the power that we never had before when it comes to locating end buyers. So in today's video, I'm going to break down the 6 different ways that you can wholesale deals anywhere in the United States. Now, when we determine what markets we're going to buy leads in, here at Titanium, we just say lead Zolo, property leads, speed to lead, give us leads in all 50 states. Now, as those leads come in, there are times that we are going to have to determine there's not enough buyers in this specific location for us to dispo the deal. So we would embrace no, and we would move on from those. However, what this does is it lowers our cost per lead, and it allows us to determine which deals we really want to take on and which ones we don't. Now, the way that we do this is as we're doing acquisitions, we also have our dispo softwares pulled up. So as we look at a lead and we're breaking down and we're analyzing, yes, we look at the Google Street View. We do the comping softwares where we're determining what the after repair value is, but we're also seeing how many end buyers do I have in this area. This is critical because when you're looking at the deal, it's not just about if you're getting a property under contract for a discount, but you want to make sure that you're able to successfully assign that deal so we can get paid. Otherwise, we're just wasting our time. We're getting that little dopamine hit saying, "Ooh, I got a deal under contract." Well, who cares if you got a deal under contract in the middle of nowhere, South Dakota, if you don't have any end buyers? So today, I'm going to break down the 6 different ways that we identify whether or not we have end buyers when we're analyzing a deal. Now, number 1 is the main disposition software that we use here at Titanium, which is InvestorLift. Now, one of the things that I'll do is as soon as I'm talking to a seller and I've identified, hey, this seller's motivated. This could be a potential deal, whether or not the price is correct or incorrect. I just want to make sure before we move on in the conversation, how many end buyers do I have in the city? Now, what I'm looking for is a minimum of 2,000 cash buyers in that city. Now, if it comes in less than that, the next thing that I will do is search the county. Now, this is a huge difference because a lot of times you will have a small city inside of a county where it won't give you many cash buyers. But then when you look at the county, you could have a ton of buyers. Now, I'm going to give you guys a specific example here in Dallas-Fort Worth, what I'm talking about. Dalworthington Gardens. Now, if you don't know anything about Dalworthington Gardens, it's probably because you're not from DFW. But it's essentially a small little city in between Arlington, Texas, and Fort Worth, Texas. If you were to look at it on a map, it's right next to Cowboy Stadium, Texas Rangers Stadium, Six Flags. I mean, it's in the heart of the Metroplex. So if you were to look and see how many cash buyers are in Dalworthington Gardens, it's not very many. But if you were to look in the county, you would see you're in one of the hottest markets in the United States. Now, this is why we search both of those when we're looking to see how many end buyers we have. Now, let's say you don't have a paid option of InvestorLift, and I get it. InvestorLift is expensive. The next option that we're going to use is InvestorBase. Now, you can go in there and you can search to see how many buyers you have in a specific city or county, just like you can in InvestorLift, for a more affordable price. The third option would be very similar to InvestorLift and InvestorBase, Deal Speed. Now, a lot of you guys are already using Speed to Lead for your leads. why not go ahead and sign up for Deal Speed and utilize it? It's a couple $100 a month, and it could be another option for you. After the disposition specific softwares, let's talk about some of the comping softwares that we use that can also help us identify end buyers. The number one option that I'm going to use is Privy. Now, I'm not talking about for comping, I'm talking about for end buyers. I love using Privy for this because it allows us to see not only what buyers are in the area, but how much they paid for it and what did they end up selling that property for after they flipped it or fixed it up and sold it. This is extremely powerful when you're underwriting the deal. The last option, before we get into the best option, is PropStream. Now, this gives you an idea of how many cash buyers are in the area. The only problem with this is that you're going to have to skip trace this, cold call it, or text them. But it does give you an idea of how many cash buyers and investors are in the area and are currently buying deals. Now, the last option, the sixth option, the one that I feel like is the best, is to be a part of a community like Titanium University. And here's what I mean by that. If you're inside of Titanium University, you could leverage other people inside the community to either joint venture with that have buyers in an area, or even just sell your deal to the end buyers that exist inside of Titanium University. So, for example, right now, we have cash buyers in very specific locations that we know exactly what their buy box is. You get to hang out with them during implementation calls on a daily basis. So I know if I get a good rental property in the state of Wisconsin outside of the city of Milwaukee, Galen is my buyer. I don't have to call anybody else. It's just a one-call dispo. I know if I get a banger of a deal that's a good flip or a wholesale in Los Angeles, John Medina is my buyer. Again, a TU member, one dial dispo. What about more remote, rural locations where people say, hey, it's really hard to do deals? Well, again, if you're in a community where you have end buyers like J.W. Epstein, he's an end buyer in Amarillo and surrounding cities and counties. Now, that's up in the panhandle of Texas, where a lot of times it's difficult to dispo deals. But J.W. is an end buyer there. Another one is Rhett Wilgers in Florida. He came in, he gave wholesaling a chance, and then he was like, listen, it's just not necessarily what I want to do. I want to do less volume with higher fees. I'd rather just do some more flips or some really high assignment, dirty title issue, like dirty title deals, wholesaling. So he's an end buyer in the state of Florida. Now, these are just some of the examples of many that we have inside of Titanium University. And for me, when I look at this and I go, what do I always say about dispositions? It's about building a relationship with your end buyers. How much better of a relationship can you build than getting to hang out with someone every single day, getting to know their personality, and also getting to understand where their business is? Now, I've never been able to really do that with just strictly a wholesale transaction with my end buyers, no matter how bad I want to build that relationship. This, to me, are the 6 best ways for you to determine where your end buyers are in areas. So for me, this gives us the power to wholesale houses anywhere in the United States. Now, we started doing this in 2020, full nationwide virtual wholesaling, before all of this existed. Now, PropStream had cash buyers, but InvestorLift wasn't a business. InvestorBase wasn't around. DealSpeed wasn't around. Privy wasn't around. And Titanium University wasn't around. This is, again, why I feel like we have such a massive opportunity in front of us as wholesalers in 2025. This stuff never existed before. We were doing stupid stuff like scraping emails off of Facebook groups. Nowadays, we can literally go in and see RJ Bates bought 15 properties in Anchorage, Alaska. This is how much he paid for them. This is how long he owned them. And this is what he sold them for. Here's his contact information. And you can do that with almost every cash buyer across the United States nowadays. It's amazing. This is why we should be embracing the opportunity, not limiting yourself. So anytime someone asks me, RJ, what market should I be in? Well, you need to make that decision for yourself. But at the end of the day, my suggestion is, why not open up the opportunity to as much possibility as possible? Like, do deals anywhere and everywhere, because the softwares and the information exist and it's at your fingertips. If you get good at using these tools, you can basically make unlimited money. That's my opinion about, can you wholesale deals anywhere in the United States? Yeah, you can. How do I know? Because I'm doing it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you give us a like. See you guys tomorrow.